Hey guys, this is your girl Rosestarlight. Now, I know I haven't posted in a really long time, but I've been kind of, you know, contemplating and just doing what I gotta do, to build and continue to grow and expand myself and put myself in a better position, basically. But today, I actually want to talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about, that I actually been talking about, but um, I just want to be able to express it and be able to post it on YouTube so that anybody can be able to tap into it if they like. But I'm just talking today about us as the human race, right? But not only that, but also my thoughts on certain things, my own perspective on certain things. So, first off, I want to start by saying, like, when it comes to, like, what you're aware of, your knowledge, basically, um, it's not weighted by the amount of time you spent studying you know, or anything like that. It's basically like the amount of wisdom and knowledge that you gain throughout your existence, right? Throughout your existence, and experiences and experiments. But I'm gonna get into that in a minute. So you know how they tell you how with knowledge, come great opportunities. Is that what they say? I don't know, but they be saying some shit along the line of like, if you have knowledge, then you're on top, basically. And it is not wrong. It is not right at the same time. And the reason I'm saying that is because you can have knowledge, right? You can know something. For example, I can know that tomorrow is gonna be tomorrow, or I can know that in a couple hours it's gonna be nighttime. That's because I'm aware of it. I've been aware of it, so it's something that I have knowledge onto. Or I can know that 1 plus 1 is 2, vice versa, right? But if I'm in a situation where, let's say, I'm gonna give a case scenario of like if you had somebody who, you know, wanted to go and do something illegal, and I'm sorry I have to use this, but if you have somebody who wanted to go and do something illegal, let's say a friend, right? Now, you can know that, okay, your friend has this and that, or you can know that you have this and that to be able to do that, right? Or that they're able to do that, right? But if you're not wise enough to know, oh yeah, this is what I want to say. You do not know whether or not whatever y'all about to do is gonna go in your favors. You guys do not know that. So what does that tell you already? If having knowledge is all that great and all that powerful and all that important, how come you do not know? How come? Well, you can say because you haven't been in that situation before, but but when you wise, right? Being wise, it's somebody that go based on its intuition, right? Based on, yeah, it's intuition. How you feel? Do you feel right about you know stealing or robbing or whatever? Do you feel right about that action? Do you truly feel right about it? Do you feel right about you participating in that activity, right? Now ask yourself those questions, and once you do, you're gonna come up, and if you feel as though it's not something that you truly feel like you should be doing, then trust your instinct, trust your wisdom, because that right there is much more powerful than knowledge. Without knowledge, there will always be wisdom because we're all wise. Intuition is what makes us wise. Gut feeling is what makes us wise. Now, knowledge, right, is the amount of information that we gain throughout times, the amount of awareness we gain, right, based on people, places, things, or experience we've had in general. So that alone tells you that knowledge is really not that important. You can be all knowledgeable and everything and still be in fucked up situation. You can have all the knowledge in the world and still put yourself in a position where you don't really need to be at. But when you wise, but you have no, and again, you cannot be wise without having no knowledge because we all have knowledge. This is a natural birthright for all human beings. All that is, it's all have knowledge, right? But if you just have knowledge alone, it will not get you far. You have to be wise also. So I want to jump into this also because a lot of people have this misconception when it comes to, you know, um, spirit, soul, and body, right? Now, I like to look at a body, and I'm gonna start as a body because we're in the third realm of reality. So I'm gonna start in this realm till we'll go way back. But yeah, so as far as a body, I like to look at it as like a vessel, right? As like a home, a church, right? Somewhere where we feel safe at, somewhere where something we're able to control and utilize to do what needs to be done, right? As far as movement and or actions or anything like that, or experiments and and things like that. And as far as soul, right, I like to think at it as like, oh yeah, and also as far as a body, I like to also look at it as like mind, right? It's a conscious mind, a conscious body, right? We're consciously aware of this body that we got. We're consciously aware of external world. We're consciously aware of all everything that's set out in a space, right? And yeah, so that's how I like to look at the body. As far as the soul, I like to look at it as a subconscious, right? The voice that's constantly in the head, the thoughts that are constantly repeating and playing in our heads in a really fast pace that you're not able to catch up to. And a subconscious is like a library. It's where we it's a is that a right word, archive or however, but library can give a better idea of it. But as far as a library, right, as somewhere where we keep books, we keep a knowledge, experience, everything, things like that. And that's a subconscious. That's how I look at the soul, as a subconscious, basically. And the accumulation of all things that we've experienced in the past, in the present, and in the future, right? It's the key to a spirit, right? It's basically, yeah, it's the door and the key to a spirit. Or you can look at it as like the door, and maybe your conscious is the key, and you have to be consciously aware to unlock the door and be able to tap into and go beyond in your spirit, right, in the spirit realm, right? Because you cannot just go from the body, from your physical body, to all the way to your spiritual body. Like, doesn't work that way, because your spirit is basically, I like to look at the spirit as like this thing, this substance that we're unconsciously aware of, yeah, we're unconsciously aware of, right? And I'm saying unconsciously aware of because we are aware that we have a spirit, but we are unconscious when it comes to it. Because you can ask yourself, like, okay, well, you know that you have a spirit, but what is that? What is that spirit? And you can say, oh, well, the spirit of the soul. That's when you fucked up, because the spirit is not the soul. This the spirit, the soul, the body makes up you, your existence in this realm of reality. But as far as your soul is just the accumulation of what's it called it of all things that have transpired to be and that have yet to be, if you know what I mean. And your spirit is what has already been. And your spirit is basically like a guide of some sort. It's something that's unable to communicate with you through words or anything like that. It's able to communicate with you through people, place, and things, through numbers, through signs, and things of that sort. And I like to look at the spirit, the unconscious, right, as like this substance, right, this energy, this frequency, right, that's kind of like pushing forward, you know, um, whatever it is that, and then also it depends, right? Because this is what I think, and I'm gonna give an example. If you're thinking about doing something, you're consciously aware of what it is that you're trying to do, right? So now you're gonna be thinking about it. Now, because you're gonna have other things that you're gonna be thinking about, right? It's gonna be there. It's gonna get logged in. It's gonna get, yeah, logged in your subconscious, and it's gonna repeat itself. Now, your subconscious does not know wrong from right, what's wrong or right. Your subconscious is just there to like just hold on to all that you're registering through your conscious, through your conscious, and yeah, it's just that to register and lock in all the knowledge that you're able to gain and receive from all places and all things, right? And your spirit is basically that substance that's kind of like helping to organize your subconscious, right? So that's why, like, you got to think about it when you think about wanting to do something, or you just experience something that wasn't too comfortable, you weren't too comfortable experiencing, right? And you go to sleep, right? You go to sleep. Now, whatever it is that you thought about before you went to sleep, right, it's gonna register to your subconscious. It's gonna remain there. It's gonna keep playing and keep playing, keep playing, depending on how much percentage it has on your state of being, or your state of awareness, depending on how much time you spent dwelling on that consciously. Is gonna be you know how much time or how much more space is gonna take on your subconscious, and it's gonna keep repeating itself, trying to find, just trying to, yeah, just repeating it. And then your spirit is just that guide, you know um you can look at it as like a guide, basically, as like that which is always leading you to your true path, always guiding you to your true destination, where you need to be, what you need to do, right? Now, because your spirit is just like, is that, you know um is that existence which is just trying to guide you, right? Now, it's going to, depending on how conducive that idea is to, you know, taking you to where it is that you need to go or slow you down is how much is going to play out into your subconscious, right? So once it play out into your subconscious, that's when, depending when you wake up in the morning, it's going to, you know, it's gonna be that thought. When you, once you gain a feeling, once you know, it's gonna be backed up by your subconscious also, because again, your subconscious, you know, is gonna be the one registering and keeping it locked in and everything, because it doesn't know what's right or wrong. It's just registering everything that you consciously getting aware of, and then your spirit is kind of what is guiding you and leading, and deciding whether or not that is what will bring you forward to your next, to your true path, right? So it can be a situation where, and it can be anything, because again, there is no right and wrong. It's just what is, and whatever is supposed to bring you forward to whatever, wherever you need to be at, right, is what is gonna happen regardless, because that's your spirit job. It's, yeah, it's the spirit job to do that. And some situation and everything, again, everything in life, it's about learning. We're all experiencing and expanding. The more experiences you have, the more wisdom you receive, and the more wisdom you receive, the more lighter you become, the more, you know, knowledgeable you become, the more wiser you become, the more um, stronger you become, the more you expand, basically. And it's like the spirit is like that substance, that which is, that's kind of like in the back, just like sitting down. It just watching. The spirit is, the spirit is like, and I'm just, and again, as I'm speaking, I'm getting all this tattoo. So the spirit is like, you know, a piece of, a part of the all. And I'm and you know, if y'all want to use the term God to have an understanding of what I'm calling the all, because again, with, you know, the concept of God, right? It's such a mediocre, you know, it's such a mediocre. Wow. Okay, hold on. The okay, the concept of God, right, is such a mediocre word to use to describe that which is, that substance, that frequency, that vibration, that balanced energy that created all things, and experiencing itself through all things, and things like that. So I'm calling it the all. And I don't even like to call it the all. Like, I just like to, like, just breathe. Like I'm telling y'all, like, take a moment right now, right? And truly do not think of that source, right? That frequency, that vibration. Do not put a title to it. Just breathe. And you're gonna sense, You know, if you're doing it right, if you're truly in tune with it, your body is gonna heat up. It's gonna feel a warm and a comfortable kind of warm, and your body's gonna vibrate as it's vibrating. As my body is vibrating right now. Now that feeling right there, that's the spirit. That's the part of the all, and because it is in you, that's why your body is able to vibrate and resonate with it, right? That's how you know that that exists, and it is. It's in you. It's around you. It's everywhere. That's why the spirit is not a thing. It's not a person. It's not. It's a frequency. It's a vibration, and it is able to express itself through all things, whether good and bad. Like, and the spirit, again, the spirit is that which came down. The spirit is, you can look at the sun, right? The sun is the masculine energy, right? Now, when I say the masculine energy, everything has a yin and yang. All things, everything has a yin and yang, whether it's female or male, whether it's masculine or feminine. It's just all about a percentage. When something is feminine, it's gonna be feminine, right? But it's gonna also be masculine. It's gonna be more feminine than masculine. Same thing with a man, right? Now, you can look at the sun as that masculine energy, right? That structure, that, uh, um, what's the word for it? That's beside the point. But that masculine energy, right? It's a whole body of spirits, all in one, vibrating on the same frequency. And by it vibrating on those vibrating on the same frequency, when one aspect does not vibrate at the same frequency, it end up descending, it end up falling down into this realm of reality, and it's not able to go back up, right? Now the sun is able to come down and go up whenever it pleases. It goes up, it comes down to, you know, rule and do what it gotta do, and then go back where it's coming from and enjoy its time. Same with the moon as the feminine aspect of life, of all things, right? It's also the same way. And if that fat feminine aspect is vibrating at a lower frequency, it's gonna drop. If one spirit is not vibrating anymore at that same frequency as the moon, as that frequency, that feminine aspect is gonna fall down and come and experience itself in, this realm of reality. Now, that's what I think. Now, as far as like what I was saying, so yeah, that's like a big body of spirits. So look at every being. Look at this earth that we're in. The earth that we're in is a feminine and masculine energy also. But it's more feminine because this actually comes from, I don't know, I don't like to make assumption, but this is just, and this is not even making an assumption, I'm just going based on the feeling of what I'm getting, right? It's it was once a certain, it was once vibrating at a certain frequency, right? And it expanded over time, and it keeps on expanding, right? But it's not expanding at a right or wrong, you know. It's not right or wrong, it's just still but existing at the same time, and it's being influenced by, you know, different um different other frequencies, right? It's getting influenced by the sun, it's getting influenced by the moon, it's getting influenced by other planets also. And that's just another example that we all influencing each other at a certain level, at a certain frequency, at a certain level, at a certain capacity. Same thing with all planets. They all influencing one another, and they all were, you know, they all come from the source. They all. So basically, it's just all about. And I know I'm kind of over the place, but it's kind of like, just like I said before, just an experience. Like, you can look at the spirit as like experimenting, right? Is it's just sitting back and like, how do you say it? It's sitting back, right? And watching it experiencing. And as it experience, right? It's expressing also its vibration, its energy, its frequency, right? So you can look at, you know, your spirit as like experimenting, right? Which is kind of like, like means trying out, different concepts, trying out different things. That's what it means to experiment, right? And just like I said before, as far as your spirit, or the spirit, right? Just, you know, leading you towards where you have to go. It's basically just experimenting with the outside world, right? And based on that experiment that it conduct, it will lead to an experience, right? And once you experience whatever you experience, you're gonna be expressing that experience. And whether it's through people, pleasing things that you vibrate towards or that you're around, you're gonna play out those experience, whether you want to or not, because every experience is what shapes you. Every experience you've had is what made you who you are today. Is what has given you the wisdom that you have to be able to relate to anybody or anything and be able to express yourself for whatever it is that you express yourself for. It's like, for example, like someone who's gone to school, right, and being around and experience, being around, other diverse, kids, and learn something, right? They can they have an experience, right? Now, because that was the way, the truth, the path, that's where they needed to be at to be able to move on to wherever it is that they needed to be, need to to expand to, or to vibe to, or float to. um they're gonna, again, they're gonna experience, right, that. And based on the experience that they have, whether good or bad, is what they're gonna express in the outer world. Like, if I'm having an experience where as though I'm being bullied, right? I'm gonna express that by me acting, reacting, thinking, um, showing signs, expressing that experience. Whether it's by me experience, letting anybody know, or me talking to myself about, or talking to my, or expressing to my soul, to myself, right? And, or just me having certain, showing certain sign of someone who is being in a fucked up situation or in a bad situation, towards though either I'm playing out a really a character of someone who's really mad and aggressive and trying to put that anger on everybody and everything, or I'm kind of shy and reserved and calm or sad, or have this look of detachment, right, based on what I'm experiencing. And we all go through this. Same thing with if you're going through something good, right? If you just got a new job, you just experience having a new job, you just experience having a new child, you just experience having a new home, a new car. However, you're gonna be excited, you're gonna be expressing that experience. Now that experience that you had is just an experiment that the spirit is conducting, right, to see if you're worthy of, you know of going where it is that you need to go at. Now, it's able to determine that by how much you listen to and trust, and align yourself with who you truly are, and believing in yourself and trusting that you know better for you, and trusting that you know what you're doing, you know what you want, you know where you're trying to go at. And you, based on your feeling and vibration, whatever you feeling, whatever you vibrating towards, or you know um whatever you intuitive about, if you trust that and truly believe. Because without belief, without faith, without, you know, yeah, without faith, believe in your goddamn self, in your truth, all that's gonna be left to do is you believing in others' truth and other, reality, in others' realities, and living other people's lives, and not really going, you know, living your life based on your own truth, based on your own experience, based on what you know, based on how you feel, right? It's like if you know you're not supposed to do something, but because you have a friend that likes to do, or let's say you have a friend that likes to go out and to the club and party all night and drink all night, and you don't do that. You know that's not you. You know you like to be home and watch TV or play video games or read a book or study or some shit, right? And you know truly deep down that, maybe they invite you to the club or something, and you know deep down that day that you're not really truly, you're not feeling like going, and then, because they were your friend, because they were this and that, you were kind of like, you just said like, fuck it, okay, I'm just gonna go because it's my friend, because she believes, or she knows, it's gonna be late, like she's, she's giving me this vibration, she's giving me this energy